It's June 2015. A bedroom in a quiet town in the East Midlands of England. A 15-year-old boy is sitting at his computer. The screen glows. His fingers move fast. He's not playing video games. He's not doing homework. He's inside the email account of the United States Secretary of Defense. He reads messages between generals. He sees flight plans for Air Force Two. He accesses personnel files of intelligence officers. And then, because he's 15 and bored, he tweets about it. Within hours, the FBI is on the phone with British authorities. Within days, armed officers will break down his door. This is the true story of how a teenager hacked the Pentagon from his bedroom, and why the US government eventually offered him a job. By the time this video is published, some details of this case may have been declassified further. But the core story, one of the most startling cybersecurity breaches of the decade, remains a warning about the power of teenage curiosity. Let's go back to where it began. The boy's name is not publicly available. He was a minor under UK law. In court documents, he is referred to as Hacker A, or simply the teenager. Later, he would use the online alias Kraka or Cyberzeist. But at the time, he was just a kid who loved computers. He grew up in a working-class family. His mother worked at a supermarket. His father drove a truck. They didn't own a fancy laptop. The family computer was a hand-me-down, slow and loud. But the boy was obsessed. He taught himself to code at age 12. Not because he was a genius, he was average in school, but because he was curious. He wanted to know how things worked, why a website loaded, how a password was stored. He started on hacking forums, dark corners of the internet with names like Hell's Gate and hack forums. He learned about SQL injection, cross-site scripting, social engineering. He didn't want to steal money. He wanted to prove something. By age 14, he had broken into his first real target, a local business website. Nothing big. He changed the homepage to a meme. He felt powerful. Then he discovered something bigger, the US military's unclassified but sensitive networks. Not the top secret systems. Those are air-gapped, physically disconnected. But the administrative networks, the email servers, the personnel databases, some of them were surprisingly vulnerable. In early 2015, he found a way in. He used a technique called credential stuffing, taking usernames and passwords leaked from other breaches and trying them on US government portals. It worked more often than anyone would like to admit. He gained access to the Joint Chiefs of Staff's unclassified email system. He could read the inboxes of high-ranking officers. He saw discussions about troop movements, about strategy, about internal disagreements. But he didn't stop there. He moved laterally. From one server to another, he found a database of military personnel, names, social security numbers, home addresses. He downloaded thousands of records. Then he found the email account of the Secretary of Defense. At the time, that was Ashton Carter. The teenager didn't just read Carter's emails. He reset the password and locked the secretary out of his own account. For 12 hours, the US Secretary of Defense could not access his own email. Imagine that. The second most powerful man in the US military, locked out by a kid in England. The Pentagon panicked, but they didn't know who did it. The attack came from multiple proxy servers, VPNs, and Tor nodes. The IP addresses bounced around the world: Russia, Brazil, Japan, then back to the UK. The FBI's cyber division was called in. They worked with the UK's National Crime Agency. The investigation was codenamed Operation Triangulum. For 2 months, they watched. They traced his digital footprints. They found that he bragged about his exploits on Twitter under the name Cyberzeist. He posted screenshots of the emails he had read. One tweet read, "I'm inside the Pentagon. LOL." The FBI noted that. On June 12, 2015, the police knocked on his door. Not a quiet knock, a battering ram. 3 armed officers from the East Midlands Special Operations Unit entered his bedroom. He was still in his pajamas. His computer was on, still logged into a Pentagon server. The lead officer said, "You're under arrest for computer misuse." The teenager's mother screamed from the kitchen. His father ran upstairs. Neither of them knew what their son had been doing. He didn't cry. He didn't fight. Later, he told a psychologist, "I knew it would happen eventually. I just thought I'd get away with it longer." Because he was a minor, the trial was closed to the public. But court documents later revealed the scale of his crimes. He had accessed the U.S. Department of Defense's Joint Staff unclassified email system. the U.S. Army's personnel database, the email accounts of 12 senior military officials, the flight plans for Air Force Two, the Vice President's aircraft, and the Pentagon's internal network for civilian contractors. The prosecution called it the most significant breach of U.S. military computers by a single individual in a decade. The teenager faced up to 12 years in prison. The U.S. government requested extradition, but the U.K. courts decided to try him at home. During the hearing, the prosecutor read aloud some of his online chats. "I could launch a missile if I wanted to. Not really, but I could make them think I could." The teenager's face went red. He whispered to his lawyer, "I was just joking." The judge wasn't amused. In January 2016, the teenager was sentenced to 2 years in a young offenders institution. He was 16 years old, but the story doesn't end there. While he was in juvenile detention, a strange thing happened. The FBI, the same agency that hunted him down, offered him a deal. If he cooperated, if he taught them how he did it, if he revealed the vulnerabilities he exploited, they would help him get a reduced sentence. And after release, they would help him find a job in cybersecurity. He accepted. In prison, he wrote a 47-page report for U.S. intelligence agencies. He detailed every method, every tool, every moment of his 2-year hacking spree. He named other hackers he had worked with. He gave up his passwords and his crypto wallets. The report was later described by a U.S. official as extremely valuable, the kind of insight you'd pay millions for. He was released after 14 months for good behavior. He was 17 years old. He returned to his parents' house, his bedroom, his old computer. But this time, he had a new job offer. A London-based security company hired him as a junior penetration tester, an ethical hacker. His job was to break into his clients' networks, but with permission. He found vulnerabilities in banks, government agencies, and tech firms. By age 19, he was making more money than both his parents combined. In an interview he gave anonymously to Wired in 2018, he said, "I was stupid. I didn't think about consequences. But now I use the same skills to protect people instead of scaring them." He is not alone. Many of the world's best cybersecurity professionals started as hackers. The U.S. government has a formal program called Hack the Pentagon, where they invite ethical hackers to find bugs for bounties. Since 2016, they have paid out over $1 million in rewards. But the teenager's case remains controversial. Some argue he should have gone to prison for a decade. Others say the system worked. He was punished, rehabilitated, and now contributes. The question is, what would you do with a 15-year-old who could bring down the Pentagon from his bedroom? The world is full of teenagers with that kind of power. Most of them will never be caught. A few will be hired. And some, the ones we never hear about, will do real damage. This story has a happy ending, but not all of them do. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, you care about the stories that don't make the headlines, the ones we bring you here at Unspoken History. Hit the like button if you want more deep dives into the moments that changed everything. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this story. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Unspoken History, because there's always another untold story waiting. See you in the next one.